On the stage, thank you, Mr. Gandhi and Mr. Rishi Burwa, Director of Pratidin. I now invite Mr. Rishi Burwa to felicitate Mr. Gandhi. Ladies and gentlemen, once more I am requesting you to put the mobile in the silent mode so the conversation with Mr. Rishi Burwa and Mr. Gandhi can begin. The floor is over to Mr. Rishi.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to the second day, first session of the conclave 2023. With me is a man who needs no introduction, the man himself, Shri Rahul Gandhi ji. At the very outset, I extend my warmest greetings and thank you, Rahul ji, for taking out time from his busy schedule to be a part of our humble endeavor. Before I start putting forward few questions, I would like to share a small story with you all. So around 2 months back, I reached out to Rahulji's office, seeked an appointment to invite him here today. He patiently heard me out, and then at the end he told me, Rishi, it's been a while I have not been to these type of format events, and I'm not sure, but still for you I'll try. Then I came back to Guwahati office. We discussed what to do, what not to do. So for every session, when you hold a conclave like this, there are a lot of speakers. So someone might come, someone might not turn up. So we have to look for alternatives as a backup. We look for backups for everyone, but I stood by it that Rahulji will come till the last day. So if Rahulji wouldn't have come today, it would have gone blank. Because I was 101% sure, even at the last moment, he will come for us. And ladies and gentlemen, please understand, it's after 6 long years, he is in this format. He has not been to any national channels also. It is, we take pride in that. And thank you, Rahulji, for choosing Assam and Northeast to be a part of this endeavor. Thank you so much. To begin our conversations, you have seen Rahulji in the parliament, in the press conferences, in political rallies. So today, we would like to have some candid conversations with him. To begin with, Rahulji, recently, the Instagram, we saw a lot of pictures of a bike rally to Ladakh. And it looked more like you looked more like a professional biker. So you stunned the whole media by going there on a bike, and the pictures really look nice. So what was the intent behind it? Was it a personal trip? You wanted to visit it? Usually youngsters do that on a bike to Ladakh. So what was was it an extension of Bharat Jodo?
Good morning all of you. It's a pleasure for me to be here. Thank you for inviting me. We do political tours. And the political tours, if you see most of us politicians, they're very straightforward. Go to a place, have a public meeting, come back. And I don't think that format is useful or powerful in any way. It's not effective. And so when we do tours now, we think slightly deeper about the message that we're trying to give and the sense we're trying to give the people of the state. And so the message that we wanted to give to the people of Ladakh first was that we are not going to let inaccessibility, bad roads stop us from reaching any corner of Ladakh. We're not going to allow the people to feel that they are so far away that we cannot reach out to them, number one. Number two, we wanted to give a message to the people of Ladakh and the people of India that tourism is very important for Ladakh. People traveling from the rest of the country to Ladakh is the lifeblood of Ladakh. It supports them. It's beautiful. It's thousands and thousands of videos coming from people which were contradicting that story. So it was almost a reverse capture of the mass media. And this problem is being faced across the world. This problem is not just an Indian problem. It's being faced in many other countries. And when I go there and I speak to them, it's very interesting that pretty much all countries are feeling this type of pressure.
That's correct.
That's a political learning. And I mean, that's fine. But for me, the personal learning was even more interesting, which was that where you think your limit lies is nowhere where your limit actually lies. So your limit is much, much further than you can even imagine. And it's not just in, politics, it's in everything. And I think it's the same for everybody. That normally you'll think, okay, मैं वहां तक जा सकता हूं, या मैं ये कर सकता हूं. But by definition, when you're thinking that you can do that,
Right.
you're already shortchanging yourself. Because what you can do is almost not imaginable to you.
Rahul ji, I'm sure there might be some
See
learnings.
this, I get disturbed when we're having this type of conversation. You call me Rahul or call me, Mr. Gandhi or something. This Rahul ji doesn't, I don't like it.
Okay.
Because I'm not calling you G, so then you shouldn't call me G.
Okay, so I'll stick to Mr. Gandhi.
Yeah, call me Rahul, right?
Yeah.
Rahul's good.
So Rahul, this yatra, after the yatra or while you continuing the yatra as well, when I mentioned political learnings, I'm sure you might have come out with few solutions which you might want to implement if voted to power. There might be certain issues which you might have picked up during the yatra that you know that it can be solved like this or like that, or whatever. So are there any issues which you want to pick up if voted to power and find solutions to it?
See, when you're thinking about these things, there are a couple of levels at which you have to view them.
Right.
So, the foundational level, in my view, is there fairness and participation? Meaning, for example, does the Northeast feel that it is participating in the national conversation? Does the Northeast feel that its ideas, its culture, its vision is being incorporated in the national conversation? So that would be a basic fairness, right? And there, on many axes, India is just completely failing, right? I did a speech in Parliament where I raised the point that the core of Indian government, 90 people who run this country, and they have much more power than MPs and MLAs. They decide policy. That's not how it was supposed to be. MLAs and MPs were supposed to decide policy. And that's how we started. But Today, bureaucrats decide policy. And so I looked at the 90 top bureaucrats in this country and I was shocked. I mean, I was completely blown away. 3 of them are OBCs. Now the question arises, what is the percentage of OBCs in India? What is the percentage of Dalits in India? What is the percentage of tribal minorities in India? If we do not know that, we cannot even begin to question, to address the issue of fairness. No, fairness, right? We know by and large there are 50% women in India. So we have a sense of, okay, we know how to address this issue. Because we know there are 50% women, and so it should be by and large 50% breakdown. If I see 50% women sitting here, I'm comfortable. Right? But in large areas, we just don't know it. So for me, the caste census now is a central pillar of thinking about equity in this country. So that would be at the broader level. And then you say, okay, are we giving our kids the type of education we should be giving? Are we giving them and their parents and their grandparents the type of healthcare system that we should be giving them? And then there we have examples. So I was in Rajasthan yesterday, and I think the healthcare solutions that we have come out with in Rajasthan are cutting edge anywhere on the planet in the 21st century. And so there we can see that, okay, there are some ideas that Rajasthan has developed. If you go to Chhattisgarh, some of the work that we are doing with connecting traditional production activities, manufacturing activities, some of the work we're doing with farmers is completely cutting edge. You go to Karnataka, the social security system we have set up in Karnataka is cutting edge. So there are examples of these things we can look and say, okay, this state is doing well. Rajasthan can become a framework for a national healthcare solution.
Rahulji, coming to Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, when after 2014, non-BJP parties did win few of the states. And after that, there was an air that there might be a change in 2019 in the government, but obviously that did not materialize. In coming days, you have 4 major state elections. You might win all of them, or might not win any of them, or might win 50% of them.
No. And you say, listen, what is the key issue in terms of anti-incumbency in Rajasthan? And you can go and do this. They'll tell you, actually, we like the government. We like what they've done on healthcare. We're very comfortable with the type of stuff they're doing, 500 rupee gas cylinder, the farm loan waiver, we are very comfortable with it. So we are adapting. In a situation where the BJP controls the media, we are adapting and controlling the narrative. So if you look at Bharat Jodo, we control the narrative. And they put in thousands and thousands and thousands of crores to take away the narrative. They couldn't do it. Right? So don't think the opposition isn't capable of adapting. We are adapting. We're working together. We are 60% of India's population. BJP is in for a surprise in 2024.
That's what my next question was. So if you win 3 states, 4 states, I appreciate the confidence. My best wishes for you. So if you win,
if you silently go and ask the BJP people, you ask the BJP leadership in Rajasthan, right? Ask them what's going to happen in the election. They'll tell you. Ask them what's happening in Chhattisgarh. They'll tell you.
But sir, will it set the momentum for 2024? If you win maybe 4 of them, are you confident it will set the momentum for 24? Because that did not happen in 19. I'm sure you have learned and adapted, like you are saying right now, controlling the narrative, pushing forward your agenda. So
look, I'll tell you what the game is. The BJP has basically created a friendly monopolist. Okay? His name is Mr. Adani. I assume you've heard his name. You've heard his name? Yes. See, you're even a bit hesitant. You're even a bit hesitant कि भैया बोले ना. Right? So he has created this gentleman and essentially is handing over the key industries of our country to this gentleman. And this gentleman controls a significant chunk of the media in this country. Right? And there are other monopolists, but this man is the main gentleman. So there is a massive concentration of wealth that this gentleman has. And there is a huge amount of money that the BJP is generating from this. Right? So there is media control. There is financial control. Right? Please go and ask any businessman in India what happens to them if they support an opposition party. If they were to write a check for any opposition party, ask them what happens to them. Right? So we are facing a financial attack. We're facing a media attack. And we're doing pretty well. We've banded together. I have not seen the opposition working like this before. Where we can sit down on the table and we can say, look, we don't quite agree with you on that. And they can say, well, we don't agree with you on that. And we'll say, okay, so what about this compromise solution? And they're like, absolutely, this works for all of us. Right? So there's a great deal of flexibility. And I must tell you, I am very impressed with the flexibility that all the opposition parties are showing. Because we understand what is at stake here. We are not fighting now a political party.
You're fighting
right? We are fighting the Indian state. And we are fighting to defend the idea of India. And that is why we have given our name, India.
Sir, what's your opinion on one India, one election, combining assembly elections with Lok Sabha elections? What's your take on that?
It's one of the BJP's distraction strategies, right?
Okay.
Look, we started off with one election. Right? When we started our elections. Why do we have different dates? Because in the Indian system, a chief minister can say, actually, in year 2, I feel comfortable enough to win an election and I'm going to hold an election. Right? So, at any point, a chief minister can declare elections. Right? So, obviously that's why this has happened.
Do you think it's practically possible with so many states, so many political dynamics, and then Lok Sabha?
It's a distraction. Look, the main issues in India are simple. Concentration of wealth. Huge inequality in wealth, number 1. Number 2, massive unemployment. Number 3, huge unfairness towards the lower caste, towards OBCs, towards tribal communities. These are the issues. Everybody knows them. Price rise. 1,000 rupees cylinder, right? Now, BJP can't contest those, right? So, let's have Mr. Biduri make a statement. Let's have, let's get together and sort of have elections together. Let's change the name of India. This is all distraction. We know it. We understand it. And we're not going to let them do it.
Sir, recently, there had been discussions on the Women's Reservation Bill, and this is one of the bills where Congress Party has come out in support of, but excluding the 2 footnotes which you had been mentioning in the Parliament also, and also in your press conference recently. So, what is the reservation on that?
The Women's Bill, which every single party has supported, can be implemented tomorrow morning. All you have to do is you have to say 33% of the seats are going to be reserved for women in the Lok Sabha and the Vidhan Sabha. It's very simple. There's nothing more to it. If the BJP was serious about doing it, that's what they'd do.